Another player we can feel comfortable about, that's Michael Hawkins. But what does he got to get better at during the bye to give Oklahoma a chance to beat Texas coming up after that?
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So Michael Hawkins has had a really, really strong 6 quarters and a drive to his Oklahoma career. He's looked really comfortable. He's looked really confident. He's looked in control of the offense. We talked communication in the last segment with the offensive line. He looked very comfortable communicating with his offensive line. Did not look like a true freshman out there who was in awe of the environment, in awe of his surroundings, flustered at all by being backed up in his own end zone at first and 10 from the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
The dude's built for it, but he's still a true freshman and he's got a lot of things. I say a lot of things. He's got things he's got to work on as he continues to progress and get better. So Jay, in your mind, as you look at Michael Hawkins' game so far, what's an area that you think he could get better?
First off, I agree with you on a lot of things. He has a lot of things to work on, and that's not a bad thing, right? That means that he's not at his ceiling. That means that he still has growth and growth available for him. But I think the thing that Michael Hawkins can do to truly improve himself and improve his game, I need him to go watch Lamar Jackson, right? Go watch Lamar Jackson in the early part of his career. Go watch a little Colin Kaepernick at San Francisco. Basically watch what Greg Roman was doing with his power run and the ability to lead that power run into some pass games. I hope the offensive staff does that, because what we need to do is mold this team around is leveraging Michael Hawkins' ability to run a lot heavier and make it to where he doesn't get hit, right? Like Lamar Jackson is probably the best example of a quarterback that can scramble and doesn't take big hits, right? Like, I mean, he may do the flips that we've seen Michael Hawkins do into the end zone and throw his body out there. But when he's actually just doing his standard runs, he's not getting hit very hard because he does a really good job of collapsing his body to where people aren't able to get a big hit. I want Hawkins to get better in that capacity only for this season, because as nice of an arm as he has, with the offensive line still trying to build that continuity, he's going to have to do a better job of moving around. So I need him to do a better job of getting out of the pocket and extending the play, making the throw downfield, right? I need him to get more comfortable with stepping into the pocket, standing there and launching it and taking that shot. That's probably the one thing Jackson Arnold did really well. He was willing to step into the pocket and throw it on a pass that he was comfortable with and always landed that dime. I need him to do that as well. He's not going to have enough clean pockets going on for the rest of the season with Texas and then South Carolina, Ole Miss, I'd say Missouri for the most part, Alabama, right? Those 5 games right there, you're going to go up against some defensive lines that's going to be truly threatening, or at least have edges that's going to be able to come around and cause some issues. So for Michael, it's going to be about extending the play, if anything, he can also go look at the freshman year of Caleb Williams. That's another great season to go watch. All those type of players finding ways to extend the plays and then be able to launch it. The other component to add to that, John, as I'm going very long-winded here, is guiding your wide receivers to the places they need to be when you're extending the play, right? Mm-hmm. Let them know, if the pass isn't out in this amount of time, turn around and look, because I'm probably going to need you to go this direction or that direction. I can start waving you. That's going to be the most important part, waving people to certain areas to where he can throw it to them open. That's very hard on a secondary. No matter how great your coverage is, when the wide receiver starts to do his own impromptu stuff, that throws everything out the window for a corner, because they don't know which direction you're truly going to go. If they're pattern matching you, they have an idea of your route. But if you break off and do something weird, they're like, what the heck is he going? So to me, that's kind of the list of things I think he could do to improve. And that's probably where I think the focus needs to be here in this off week.
Well, and touching on the scramble game, that's one of those things that will come with more time and reps with the wide receivers he's playing with.
Agreed.
Because it takes chemistry. I mean, much like offensive line, it takes chemistry. I go back to like a guy like Tony Romo and Laurent Robinson. Like, those two had it down in the scramble game. It's like Laurent Robinson, he had a career year with Tony Romo, had been kind of mid everywhere else, but it was because he had such a great feel for what to do whenever Tony Romo was having to get outside the pocket and scramble, that they were creating big plays all the time. So I think that's going to be something that comes, especially as the younger wide receivers gain more confidence and feel like, hey, they feel like they can break off their route because Hawkins is scrambling. If their route concept is calling for them to run a dig or a drag across the field, and they see Hawkins scrambling back, at some point they've got to learn to feel comfortable breaking off what their concept was and coming back, unless there's a crosser that's coming behind them. You don't want to come back and be in that crossing window. But
no,
it's just a comfort thing, and it takes time and chemistry and feeling like you have the onus or the wherewithal or the confidence from the coaching staff to be able to do that. But I think it'll come. I think the other thing is just, letting, as Michael Hawkins gets more comfortable and gets more reps under his belt, just trusting it, just trusting what he sees and throwing. There are times, and it's not many, and it's easy to sit up here, from a broadcast view and look at, and even from an all 22 view and look at what Michael Hawkins is, or what the play call is and what the pass concepts look like, and seeing guys running and you're like, oh, that guy's open or that guy's open. But you don't know what it is like when, I don't know what it's like sitting back in a pocket when you've got, dudes that are 6'4", 6'6", standing in front of you with other guys that are 6'2" to 6'6" coming after you. And then you're asking them to see a 5'9" Brennan Thompson running a slant. You're going to miss guys. It's just bound to happen. So I don't want to sit here and say the dude that he's missing guys. What I want to say is just trust it. If you see it, sling it. Don't hesitate. I know we've made such a big deal about turnovers all off season for the last 9 months, 10 months. Brent Venables lauded Michael Hawkins for not turning the ball over or putting it in harm's way. And that's fine. But there are going to be times where we're going to need you to throw it. We're going to need you to throw the ball and get this team moving down the field. And you're going to have to just trust what you see and throw the ball and trust that your wide receiver is going to be able to make a play. And that'll come again with experience and time and comfort.
Right. I need you to take some risk, right? I need you to, I've seen him do it a few times, which again, this is not us saying that he won't take risks, because we've watched him take risks. We just need more of those risks to be taken, right? We need you to kind of go out there and I need you to improvise, right? I need you to go out there and be a magician like you've been, but a little bit more, right?
I appreciate that he's trying to protect the football. I totally appreciate that.
Yes.
And
totally.
And that's great. We don't want turnovers. That's not what we're saying. It's just more like, if you see that JJ Hester's one-on-one like you did this last week, throw the ball. Just throw the dang ball like you did. You see you got a guy streaking across, let it loose, man. Just trust your instincts, Don't play conservative like Jackson Arnold ended up doing, and then get outside yourself. Just trust your instincts.
Yeah, don't be afraid to make a mistake here or there, right? Now, I know that your goal isn't to.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think that he's thinking that. I think that in the way that he's playing his game right now, it appears that he's more so very comfortable with what he's doing. But at the same time, I still see that there's a little bit of happy feet in the pocket. Now, I know he's going to improve in that. Like I said, with experience and time, he's going to get better there. To me, the biggest thing is if you can find the way to extend these plays, not really just run up and try to run the ball, but if you can, especially because we know Texas is going to be smart enough to have a spy. Now, you will be faster than said spy, but they're going to have a spy. If you can make it to where you can extend these plays and then get it to a wide receiver where they can run it 10, 15 yards, or check it down to the running back. We've talked about that. Check it down to that running back so they can go ahead and run and get that first down. We'll get there, though. I know Michael Hawkins is going to get there, so I have no concerns here. These are just some things that I think that would probably help enhance his game.
Yeah, and probably things that he's talked about with the coaching staff, with his quarterback coach, Mr. Murray, and probably with his dad, Mr. Hawkins, as well. Like they're not ignorant to all the things that we're talking about. But that matchup between Michael Hawkins and probably Anthony Hill is going to be quite intriguing if they choose to let Hill be the spy on Hawkins. That's what I would do if I was Sark, but I'm not
100%.
Or Kwiatkowski. Anyway, defensive line, it's getting better. It's getting better and better every single week.